The Roughriders have added a little rock and roll to their repertoire. The Preston brothers led Saskatchewan in 6 separate categories in 2 preseason victories.
It has been one of the most lethal combinations in football. The McManus to Flutie magic is back for another year and poised to move Darren Flutie up in the record books. With 3 catches tonight, he passes Rider great Ray Elgar.
And hey, there's new hope on the Prairie horizon after early wins over BC and Edmonton. A great opening night crowd at Taylor Field and a breezy, warm evening in Regina. 26 degrees west wind at 29. It's Saskatchewan and most everything is green here.
Hey, the fans are pumped, and a perfect preseason can do that for you. It's the first time in 15 years the Riders were perfect in the fake season.
Even on the opposing sideline, Ron Lancaster is still revered as Saskatchewan's greatest quarterback. He arrived in 1963 and led the Roughriders to 13 consecutive playoff appearances in the memorable first ever Grey Cup victory in 1966.
Well, last year in Danny Barrett's first year as the head coach in Saskatchewan, the Riders were 5-12-1. Changes were made. He has an entirely new defense. He has a new quarterback, and he's looking for bigger and better things in 2001.
Riders and the Ticats already have won 2 games. But no, it's a very long CFL season, and perfect records don't last very long. Preseason records don't count for a thing. There is a renewed optimism in Saskatchewan, Glenn, because it hasn't happened for a long time.
You know, the preseason is talked about all the time as a time for coaches to evaluate players, and it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But I'll tell you what, it means a lot to the fans here in Saskatchewan. They are longing for a winning football team, and 2-0 in the preseason has this crowd pumped up.
Ready for a little Friday night football?
Let's have some fun.
Riders will kick off into the breeze. Paul McCallum has it underway at Taylor Field. Decent return out to the 50-yard line. Ronald Williams has 29. After a breakout year and a Grey Cup win in 1999, Danny McManus faced injuries for the first time in his CFL career last year, and the Tiger Cats did slip a notch.
It was a hamstring injury for McManus last year, but he trained in the offseason. He got that hamstring back to 100%. He's healthy, ready to go.
McManus with Andrew Gregg and Tony Akins as the outside receivers. Going long in his first toss and on the money, far side of the field. Tony Akins made the catch. So there's still a lot of talent on that Hamilton offensive squad with Darren Flutie and Akins leading the way in receivers and Ron Williams the rushers. Notable newcomer up front on a veteran offensive line is left guard Gary Brown.
Well, it is a veteran O-line, and Carl Coulter is the anchor. He's the center, number 51. He plays well. That whole line plays well.
Great beginning for the Tiger Cats. A 29-yard pickup sets them up just outside the 30. Ronald Williams lost the ball, recovered by Saskatchewan. Out across the 40 to the 42. Jackie Mitchell came up with a bouncing ball, and the Riders have the first turnover of the night.
You know, when Ron Williams took the opening kickoff, he bobbled the football a couple times. Once when he caught it and once when he got hit initially, but he hung on. And a play later, he bobbles it again. But this time it does hit the turf, and Jackie Mitchell gets the crowd in it in a hurry. And that's what the Saskatchewan defense wanted, because Danny Barrett elected to defer the toss. They won the toss and deferred to the second half. Now a defensive play like that gets a crowd in it.
Shante Peoples created the turnover. He stripped the ball loose. And the Riders have a first down at the 41. Chris Zarka.
Chris Zarka is wrapped up on Ticat number 53, Joe Montford.
Marvin Graves gets a chance to take over a team after a grand tour in Canadian football over his first 6 seasons.
Well, he may have the perfect coach to get him over the top in Danny Barrett.
Well, as you said earlier, a guy who's been there, done that. It took Barrett a while to get his first starting job in Canadian football. Out of the shotgun on second down and long. Graves way over the head of his intended receiver. Looking for Curtis Marsh. So far, so good. 2 preseason wins, 0 turnovers for Saskatchewan's offense. Marvin Graves has speedy receivers with Bendross Marsh and Roll Preston. And a solid run game with the sophomore Darren Davis lining up behind a huge veteran offensive line led by John Terry.
6'4", 309. That's the average on that offensive line. Wow.
Tony Akins, one of the deep backs for the Tiger Cats. It's Akins. Flags are down, and Akins is wrapped up at the 32.
Taken by number 81, Tony Akins. There's a flag on the field.
Darren Flutie has a chance to move up a little in the CFL receiver standings.
Well, he's after 2 Saskatchewan Roughriders, former Saskatchewan Roughriders. He'll pass Ray Elgard with 3 catches tonight.
No yards. Saskatchewan number 1. First down, Hamilton.
And then next on the list will be Don Narcisse, former Saskatchewan Roughriders, and he's a ways away from Alan Pitts just yet.
The all-time catches, Pitts on top, of course, followed by Narcisse. Ray Elgard in 3rd spot, and we talked about Flutie, only 2 away from tying Elgard. 1st and 10, Tiger Cats at the 35. Ronald Williams broke 1 tackle, and he's out across the 40 to about the 42.
A lot of changes in the Saskatchewan defense. In the front 7, Kevin Holmes replaces Demetrius Maxey. Huge shoes to fill. George White, maybe the best linebacker in the CFL a year ago. And in the secondary, 3 newcomers, all in the middle of that secondary. But one is a veteran, Eddie Davis, coming over from the Calgary Stampeders as a free agent this year.
Starting lineups are brought to you by Midas. Keep a good thing going. Go Midas. Williams again tries a little farther to the outside off tackle and around. Out across the 50 to the 53. So Williams has returned to kickoff. Fumbled the football and picked up another first down for the Tiger Cats.
Well, look tonight to see Ron Williams run the ball and test that front 7 for Saskatchewan. After George White, it's a ton of inexperience up there. Kevin Holmes, a rookie. Colin Scribner playing in the middle. They'll try and make up for Demetrius Maxey's loss.
Ticats now at the 53. Quick release from McManus. No one was home. Flags are down, however. He was looking for Darren Flutie.
Well, Jackie Mitchell came across and tried to take Flutie's head off. He's being covered by Omar Evans, the rookie, but watch where number 24, Jackie Mitchell, shoots across the screen there and just misses Flutie.
Forward pass interference. Saskatchewan 24. It's first down, Hamilton.
I'm not sure how that is pass interference. It looked to me like Jackie Mitchell was looking at the football and just shot in front of Flutie.
Well, Davis doesn't understand it either. Call has been made. No score so far. Timeout at Taylor Field. It's Wendy's Friday Night Football.
Wendy's Friday Night Football on TSN is brought to you in part by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the CFL, and by Molson Canadian. I am Canadian.
Well, the pass interference was called on Jackie Mitchell, but 25, Omar Evans gets the push in the back. Watch the little push right there in the middle of the back before the ball arrives. So it was just a mistake by the official in the number. It wasn't Mitchell, it was actually Evans, and Kevin Holmes is still on the field. Just getting off now.
Yeah, he was down for quite a while. Playing in his first regular season CFL game. Ticats have a first down. Ronald Williams, nice drop. Solid run by Williams as he gets inside the 25 to about the 22. Omar Morgan got over to make the tackle. 23 yards the gain, so Williams is running very well tonight.
Well, the Ticats come in offensively with a bit of a different strategy than they've had in the past. What they've done is they've gotten a couple of big backs. George White is right over here, and he's going to get picked up. Watch, he gets picked up and blocked by Randy Bowles. What the Ticats want to do is go with 2 big backs and pound the ball this year, unlike last year when they went with 1 in Ron Williams.
And then Archie Amerson is the other back slash receiver. First down, Williams again. Not quite as much real estate this time. He stopped just outside the 20 by Aaron Collins.
Now the plan was to have Dwayne Ford be that guy who came over from Calgary. He got hurt in the preseason, so Randy Bowles fills in for him. Now offensive coordinator Ron Lancaster Jr., you're looking at right there, he's up in the booth, but he wanted to change the offense a little bit, put a couple big backs and be able to run the ball more effectively.
Well, so far tonight, the Ticats have been able to do that. Saskatchewan's defense a little suspect against the run last season, and the Ticats have spotted that. 2nd and 9. It's Aikens making the catch far side. Omar Morgan forced him out. He's short of the first down.
Well, just a quick passing game from Danny McManus, and of course he's got maybe the quickest release in football. Gets rid of that ball in a hurry, and some people wonder, I mean, he always has the great offensive lines, but you wonder how much is it the quick release and how much is it the skill of the offensive line?
Well, it depends who you talk to. If you talk to Glenn Scribner, it's absolutely only the quick release.
If you talk to the offensive line, it's them.
Hey, no, it's 7 sacks allowed for a CFL record 2 years ago. They did play pretty well. Osbaldiston for 3. He's got it. Ticats draw first blood on a 22-yard field goal. Good solid start for both sides at Taylor Field. Ticats lead it 3-0 on the Roughriders. Here are the keys to success for both teams tonight. We made these up before the game, just getting them in now, but we did say Ron Williams had to run.
Yeah, and he will run. He's already got 47 yards on the game. For the Saskatchewan Roughriders, success in the secondary. A few newcomers back there for Hamilton. And this is a big crowd. They were 2-0. They're pumped up here in Saskatchewan. A lot of optimism right here in Taylor Field.
Riders first down. First completion by Graves, but a flag goes down. Curtis Marsh made the catch on the far side.
Well, we talked about a key for Saskatchewan. Their front 7 for the Hamilton defense is new up front with Ben Huff. He's fit right into that front 4. Linebacking core slightly different. O'Shea's gone. Jason Lamar's in there. Chris Schilling comes up from the secondary a year ago. Brandon Hamilton signed as a free agent in the offseason, and after that, not a whole lot of experience. After that, Rob Hitchcock, all rookies in the secondary, and that's where Marvin Graves has to go. Now, Ben Huff can get in the face of Marvin Graves. It makes it that much more difficult. But he has really fit in the Ticats in a hurry.
Still waiting for the official announcement on the infraction. Discussion continues with Joe Montford, 2-time Chrysler Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup to see Joe Montford lining up on John Terry.
Took a little while to sort this out.
Offside, Saskatchewan 88. Penalty is declined. Major foul. Saskatchewan, unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan 88. That penalty is accepted. It is 2nd down. 2nd.
So they get Curtis Marsh for 2.
Well, he was offside, so he got a jump on the snap. And then when he got thrown out of bounds, he didn't like that, so he got up swinging. You know, Curtis Marsh had his problems last year, walked out on the team, was suspended for a game, came back in training camp, and in training camp this year also took a practice off.
So that flips to 2nd and 18, Saskatchewan. Little screen pass did not work. And Huff had it for a second. That's the newcomer, Ben Huff. And those guys on the defensive line are not noted for having soft hands, are they?
Well, Marvin Graves threw it, and then he huffed and he puffed and he tried to blow that ball down because it was going right into Ben Huff's hands, and all he had to do was catch it. Now, they don't normally handle the football, but what they have to talk to Ben Huff about is that the ball is your friend. Don't let it beat you up.
Well, Philbrick had a shot at it, too.
He read the screen perfectly. A very well-executed play by that D-line.
Kicking into the wind, McCallum. Not a bad punt. Down at the 40. Aikens lost a little on the return. Solid special teams work by McCallum. Darren Flutie is taking aim at Don Narcisse for third spot in receiving yards as well. So that is only 150 or so away.
Well, a big game tonight, and he's capable of big games. He's had a bunch in his career, but he could do that tonight. But more likely next week, he'll go past Don Narcisse, and in the catch department, which we showed you earlier, he'll make tonight. He just needs 3 to move up the ladder into third.
Ticats with a 3-0 lead begin at the 35. McManus near side, and he missed Flutie. Omar Evans was covering on Darren Flutie.
Boy, Colin Scribner was vocal in the newspaper yesterday.
Well, a whole column of Colin Scribner.
He didn't have a whole lot of good things to say about not only the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but also the entire CFL. I mean, he was talking a lot of trash in the paper. Now it's a chance in game 1 to see if he can walk it like he talks it.
2nd and 10, Ticats, 35. Flag down. McManus has Flutie. He's out to the 50. First down. If the penalty doesn't go against the Tiger Cats, Shante Peoples might have got a quick start there, Glenn.
It's so tough with guys like Shante Peoples and Joe Mumford, who are pure pass rushers coming off the edge, to tell if they're just that quick or are they offside.
Offside. Saskatchewan 58. That penalty's declined. First down, Hamilton.
Well, there's your answer.
2-time All-Canadian Shante Peoples over from Calgary.
Now there's a matchup for you. If Darren Flutie wants to go up into 3rd place in the catches list, and that's one, he's got to do it against a veteran in Eddie Davis, a guy who had a tremendous year in Calgary a season ago. 4 interceptions, was All-Canadian. He'll be one-on-one with Darren Flutie for most of this game.
Flutie picked up 15. Ticats now out at the 50. Here's Ronald Williams again. Broke through and then got hammered by 2 Roughriders, but he's close to 9 yards. Jackie Mitchell was there to make the final stop.
Well, is Colin Scribner walking it like he talks it? He had a lot of things to say. Here's Colin Scribner. Let's take a look at him and see how he does. Upfield. It's blocked initially by Gary Brown. A little slow around the edge. We'll give that one to the Hamilton offensive line. And by the way, he didn't have a whole lot of good things to say about them. He said they're not that great.
2nd and 1. Ticats will get the first down with Ronald Williams and one more run. Lots to spare there, Eddie Davis.
You know, we mentioned it in the opening of the show, but in the old days, if Colin Scribner did the talking he did, he would be reprimanded by the veterans in the locker room. And this is what he said about the offensive line. He said that Danny McManus' quick release is what makes him look good.
He gets rid of the ball so quickly. Well, everyone knows that.
Well, we would have said, you know, enough of that, because you don't want to get the opponent fired up.
Yeah, well, you don't want to say like all-stars. You know,
But, you know, this is a different time, and this is a young group, and Colin Scribner is tired of losing, so you can't blame him for trying to get him fired up.
Ticats at the Saskatchewan 42. Ronald Williams again.
Well, and this time, Colin Scribner comes in there and gets kind of tackled, almost tackled by Gary Brown, and he's looking for a holding call. He's not going to get it.
87, 2nd and 3.
Here's Scribner again, and he's going once again against Brown, and see Brown get that left hand around his waist and spin him around. That, ladies and gentlemen, is holding. But it's not a penalty if there's no flag on the field.
It's been all Ronald Williams so far for the Tiger Cats offensively. 8 carries for Williams, 72 yards. McManus to the air, looks for Akins. No catch, no call.
The veteran,
Eddie Davis.
Yeah, right on his hip, step for step. And it's Tony Akins that Hamilton hopes to become the deep threat in the receiving corps. Last year they were criticized throughout the season for not having enough speed in that receiving corps. Good route runners, but not necessarily speed guys. Well, they hope Akins can be their speed guy, but Eddie Davis right in his hip pocket, and there was no way Akins was catching that football.
Good coverage. Osbaldiston connected from 22 this drive, from 42 away. Flutie has it down. Ozzie has it up. He's 2 for 2, and the Ticats have a 6-0 lead on the Roughriders. Saskatchewan's offense hasn't done anything thus far. Slow start at Taylor Field for Marvin Graves and the Riders offense. They look to get it going here. And here's Rafe.
John, it's interesting when you talk about Marvin Graves as far as being the quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and replacing Henry Burris. Of course, Henry Burris had a love affair with the fans here and with his teammates. And Marvin Graves came into a tough spot because a lot of fans here panicked when they learned that Henry Burris was going to go to the NFL. And Marvin Graves' response after their first exhibition win against BC was, hey, if you want Henry Burris, you go get him. But until then, this is my team. John?
Brock Preston. And another penalty marker goes down. Preston on 1st and 10 gets about 3 yards, and we'll see what the infraction was.
Well, it is Graves' team, and that's the bottom line, and that's what he's said to the fans, and give him a chance is what he's asking for. He's got a great coach in Danny Barrett to guide him, a guy who coached Jeff Garcia, Dave Dickinson, and Henry Burris on the sideline. He's got that in his back pocket. But what the Saskatchewan Roughriders haven't done early in this game, which I really expected them to do more of, is run the football.
Illegal crackback, Saskatchewan 87, 2nd down, 2nd.
It's Jason French, a newcomer.
You can't come from outside the box and crack. He comes right over here. You see him down, and he's going to come down here. And that's coming from a long way away and then going right down on the knees. And that's a great call by the official, because that's the kind that can put a player out for the season.
6th penalty against the Roughriders, none against the Tiger Cats so far. Graves is running for his life, but he won't get away this time. Nailed at the 15-yard line. Chris Schelling pursued him and brought down Marvin Graves.
Well, Chris Schelling is an interesting story because last year he played in the secondary, had 4 interceptions in that secondary, and Schelling's up here, but now instead of covering, he gets to go ahead and rush. He gets the perfect blitz called for him, goes right through what's called the B gap. That's just one of the gaps between one of the linemen, not a big deal.
There's an A gap,
well,
B gap,
and a C gap. That's right. Well, he went right through the B. That's between guard and tackle, untouched.
See if they put a little heat on McCallum here. He's standing back on his 1-yard line. 11 guys on the line, and
What's the hold,
it was a
guys?
pretty good
What's the
charge. Tony Akins got away from 1, 2 Rough Rider tacklers, and is finally slowed down by a horde. Tyson St. James led the tackles.
Well, we
Clifford
thought
Ivory almost got through on that one.
Yeah, we thought Ron Williams would have to have a big night for Hamilton to win. He's got off to a pretty good start.
Yes, Williams leads the Rough Riders 72-9 in total offense.
Well, and that's the thing. Saskatchewan offensively hasn't run the football. They got the big O-line. They got 2 good running backs in Davis and Preston. They're not running it. Hamilton, on the other hand, with their big backs, letting Ron Williams carry the load so far.
Ticats end up with decent field position as a result of the penalties against the Riders. Beginning out near the 50. McManus let it go in a hurry. Morielli was the target. It was behind him. He could only get one hand on it. And Jackie Mitchell was covering him.
Let's just take one more look at Colin Scribner. This time he's working on the center and the veteran Carl Coulter right in the middle of your screen right there. See how he's doing. And watch Colin Scribner now. He's got to back up his words. He didn't get a whole lot of penetration on that play.
Second and 10, Tiger Cats. At the 48. McManus near side, open target. He has Andrew Gregg. And they'll have that spotted for a first down.
Well, we're going to go one more time back to Colin Scribner, and the reason is this is a pretty good play for him. And we've shown you a couple of times when Scribner has had his problems, but watch him get a good push up the field here. This is what you want. You don't necessarily have to be fancy, but that's a good drive on Paul Lambert, pushes him right back into Danny McManus's lap. So it's 3-1 offensive line on Colin Scribner. We'll give him that one.
However, the Ticats did come away with a first down by the narrowest of margins. Andrew Gregg's first catch of the night. 3:43 to go in the opening quarter, and it's been all Tiger Cats so far. 2 drives for field goals. Ticats Cats at the Saskatchewan 52. Ronald Williams again. 3, maybe 4 yards.
Saskatchewan also getting hit with an injury early. That was Kevin Holmes that went out. So Ron Lancaster thinks, let's attack that defensive line in Saskatchewan. Aaron Collins up there. Shante Peoples is not heavy. He's a pure pass rusher. Attack him with the running game. Sheldon Lepestuk is set to come in for Kevin Holmes.
2nd and 6. McManus has Flutie, and Flutie is rolled out by Omar Evans.
Darren Flutie gets good speed upfield, and Omar Evans, the rookie, respects that speed. You see how he opens the gate? What that means is a defensive back has turned thinking Flutie's going to go deep. He's already turned his hips and his body and respecting Flutie's speed, and then he turns with that out. And that catch ties him with Ray Elgard. One more and he goes past him.
830 CFL receptions. One more. And Flutie is all alone in 3rd place. Well, Aaron Collins had an opportunity there. One injury already. Kevin Holmes shaken up earlier. Here's Ray.
All right, John, as far as the rookie from Minnesota is concerned, he took a bang on the left knee. Ivan Goodfriend, the athletic therapist, told me that they might take a look at it at halftime. He may sit out until then, but just seconds ago, they took the ice pack off it, and Holmes is now on his feet seeing if he can walk it off. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. In the meantime, Sheldon Lepestuk is in. John?
Well, they lose about 15 pounds on the exchange. Holmes at about 300.
2nd and 10, Tiger Cats. Morreale was the target. The heat was on McManus that time, and they'll have to settle for a try for 3.
Yeah, Shante Peoples providing the pressure on Danny McManus, and I think had McManus been able to hold on to that football a couple more seconds, Morreale might have worked his way open, but off the corner it was Collins, and on the other side was Shante Peoples.
First time the Roughriders have gotten through to have any pressure on McManus. Osbaldiston 2 for 2. He's 3 for 3. That from 39. So Ozzie has connected from 22, 42, and 39, and the Tiger Cats have a 9-0 lead.
Well, it certainly is not panic time for Danny Barrett and the Saskatchewan offense. I mean, all they really have to do now is get back to the game plan, and the game plan to me has got to be running the football, especially on 1st down, or at least the quick passing game. And we talked for a while about that offensive line. That's how you use them.
Taylor Field tonight. BC plays tomorrow.
All right.
There's never an end to this CFL tour, is there?
Well, we have all 4 games to start the season.
Yeah, that's a great way for us to begin. Eskimos and the Lions tomorrow night. Chris Zarka carried the ball on 1st down, Saskatchewan.
Well, not a lot of yards out of Chris Zarka, but it does 2 things. One is it makes the defensive line for the Hamilton Tiger Cats respect the run. And number 2, it allows the offensive line for Saskatchewan to tee off. In this 1st quarter already, all they've been doing is pass blocking. This gives them a chance to just take off and go get somebody.
Gain is 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 coming up, Saskatchewan. Just over a minute to go in the opening quarter. Graves from the shotgun. Flag is down. Graves has a completion. French is the receiver, but this one is likely coming all the way back. Jason French. And I think it was Curtis Marsh outside, but hang on, we haven't heard the official word yet.
Well, it could be one of 2 things. Dwayne Butler.
Offside. Hamilton 41.
Yeah.
Decline. 1st down.
Dwayne Butler.
Huge play then.
Dwayne Butler was coming from the secondary on a halfback blitz. He's the halfback on the field, and what he's trying to do right here is come on the blitz, but he's trying to time it up. And he's just in that neutral zone when the ball is snapped. So the play counts.
So a huge play for Saskatchewan, a 50-yard gain. First completion, first down, and lots of good things happened on that play for the Roughriders, who are set up inside the 25. 1st and 10 at the Ticats 23. Bendros on an end around. Demetrius Bendros found some room to the far side. Rob Hitchcock came over from his safety spot to bring him down.
Well, Dan Komisky was the guy who pulled from that offensive line, got out around the corner and gave Demetrius Bendros a chance to run. Played 11 games, started in 11 games last year at the wide receiver position, and that time he moved into the inside spot and took that reverse for good yardage.
Fastest Rough Rider clocked at 4.3 for the 40.
All you have to do is ask him.
He'll tell you he's quick. Last play, opening quarter. Saskatchewan looking at 2nd and a couple.
They're going to get a time count violation. Marvin Graves in a crucial situation.
Time count violation. Saskatchewan number 7. 2nd down repeated.
That's an early season mistake, and one that Danny Barrett won't tolerate many of. Especially when you're in 2nd and 3, turns into 2nd and 8.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
And after the big play.
But the drive is still alive.
Oh, definitely in field goal range. However, they'd like to convert to a 1st down here and take a shot at the end zone. This should be the last play of the opening quarter. Shotgun for Graves. Dumped it out. Zarka made the catch, barely got back to the original line of scrimmage. Dedrick Mathis made the tackle there, and that wraps up quarter number 1.
Well, Mathis read it perfectly because he was the only guy there to make the tackle.
Ticats have the lead. Saskatchewan has a chance to get a little bit closer.
Wendy's Friday Night Football at the quarter.
And welcome back to the CFL Live Studios. Great crowd in Taylor Field tonight for Friday Night Football. However, they're not happy with what they're seeing. 9-0 Hamilton, and that is a score that definitely flatters the Riders right now, Chris Schultz. And now the home team may be a little bit lighter on their D-line.
Well, big injury to Kevin Holmes, the defensive tackle, and the one guy that you could say was the stud of the defensive line. You watch this play, and it's very evident at what happened. Paul Lambert is going to cut Kevin Holmes, and it's a perfectly legal play in this situation, but watch the knee right there. Now, the knee is not supposed to bend that way. That's kind of perpendicular and then a bad angle. That could be a very serious injury. You need different types of defensive linemen. You need quick guys, you need fast guys, and you need muscle guys. Well, Kevin Holmes is the muscle guy. He bench pressed 225 45 times. That's a big loss, Eric.
Yeah, it is. And at 300 pounds, that's a big man, a physical presence up front. You know, sometimes when you're getting beat, and Saskatchewan just got dominated in that first quarter, you try to make a play and hang in there. Hey, they're down 9-0. They hit the crossing route right before the break, get down in plus territory. Now they have a chance with the win to get some points and get back in the game. Sometimes it's just about hanging on, Dave.
And, you know, Eric, when you talk about Saskatchewan being at the short end of the stick, well, they helped themselves out there, too, taking a lot of penalties. And when you go into the win, you can't afford to do that as a football team. They've got Marsh's personal foul, offsides. You've got this illegal crack. That's ugly. That'll get your reputation in a hurry. Woodson's lucky he didn't get hurt there. They got pass interference, and then the time count late. It takes you out of field position. And when your field position is so important, when you ended the win in the first quarter, that's everything, Dave. And Saskatchewan can't afford to do that.
Yeah, and most of us in here agree with what John and Glenn were saying earlier. We're surprised that Saskatchewan is not running the ball a little bit more, but it's still early. Let's get you back for second quarter action. Here again is John and Glenn.
Ready for a Rough Rider field goal, trying to narrow the gap. Tiger Cats have a 9-0 lead. Paul McCallum is in. Good on 35 of 45, 75% last year. And he makes his first one of 2001. So Paul McCallum gives the Rough Rider fans a little something to cheer about. Offensively, outside of the big play by Jason French, there was very little offense put up by Saskatchewan in the opening quarter. 27-yard field goal there.
You heard the panel talk about how dominant Hamilton was, and the numbers back it up when you look at time of possession. You know, that's a big difference, almost double in time of possession for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And that's something that, you know, when you look at the score at 9-6, Saskatchewan's got to be happy with where they are. You know, they're nowhere near out of it. It could have been, you know, 21-3.
Well, the defense held.
They held on
a couple of times and only allowed field goals. McManus good on 5 of 10 as the second quarter begins with Ronald Williams one more time. He's over 100 yards now. Finally caught from behind, and a penalty marker goes down as Mitchell got over to track him down.
Ron Williams is on pace for a 400-yard night.
Well, he had 78 yards in the opening quarter.
Wow. You know, and the guys talked about it. They're lighter up
Major
front.
foul. Face mask. Saskatchewan 24. First down Hamilton.
They're light up front when you look at Aaron Collins at one end at 240. Shante Peoples at the other at 258. And now you play with Sheldon the Pastuk. You lose 15 pounds when Kevin Holmes gets hurt, and you bet the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to attack it. And they're not big in the linebacking core either. Jackie Mitchell's just 200. So if Ron Williams can get past that front four, he's in a linebacking core that is quick but small. Travis Smith is the heaviest guy back there at 240.
Another 45 yards for Ronald Williams, setting the Tiger Cats up at the Saskatchewan 26. Williams again. Nowhere that time. George White, All-Canadian, his first CFL season, made the tackle.
What a year he had. Led the Canadian Football League with 105 tackles, and what he makes up for being a little small, he makes up with aggression. I mean, this guy will hit you. He started last year at halfback. He was in the secondary
game one
for the first game, but it was against Hamilton. And you know what he did? He had 9 tackles in that game, and they said, "Wow, this guy can tackle. Let's move him up."
2nd and 8, too high. Flutie went up. Omar Evans was with him. He couldn't bring it down, so it'll be a 3rd down kicking situation for the Tiger Cats.
You know, and we talked about Saskatchewan sort of dodging the bullet. A little bit of a pick play, and Evans gets there just in time. That's one that Flutie normally catches. But, you know, on the other side of that coin is the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who have been in the red zone a few times in the scoring territory and come up with Paul Osbaldiston field goals.
Osbaldiston good on 22, 42, and 39-yard attempts. And another 32-yarder for Paul Osbaldiston. He's been perfect tonight. No touchdowns this far. It's a kicker's duel at Taylor Field. Saskatchewan's capital, Regina, on the banks of the Wascana Lake. Great place to go canoeing.
A man-made lake, by the way.
Yes, it is. Great crowd on hand. Lots of enthusiasm for the Roughriders so far offensively. Even the cheerleaders can't get them going. But maybe now with the wind at their backs. Marvin Graves at the controls. Graves stands in, and he's grabbed from behind. Gonzalo Floyd was there, number 90. No sack because he was across the line.
Gonzalo Floyd is the other end for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and unfortunately for Gonzalo Floyd, when you're playing opposite of Joe Mumford as you watch him come around the edge and put the hit on Marvin Graves, if you're the opposite end of Joe Mumford, you don't get a whole lot of press clippings. But a consistent player for 6 years with the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Gain is 1. This is 2nd and 9. Riders at the 36. Graves from the shotgun. Time to throw. Won't get it away for Willie. Fired it to nowhere. Was lucky to save the sack in one way, but it was a little dangerous in another.
Well, it was a straight-up foot race between Mumford and Gonzalo Floyd off the edges. You're going to see big number 53 right there. He had a chance. Gonzalo Floyd had a chance, just missed him. Philbert got in there late. Those guys got great start off the snap. Gonzalo Floyd and Joe Mumford were in a foot race to get to him.
McCallum will kick this to Aiken. Lashley stepping up to receive that 40-yard punt. There's only one on the return, and Danny Mack gets back on the field when we return. Sputtering start for the Roughriders on home turf at Taylor Field. Don't forget football this week. Comes your way Sunday noon Eastern. Suter and Schultz will be up bright and early. Well, you'll be up early. He'll be up sort of at regular time, right?
A little later. I'll be in Vancouver. He'll be in Toronto. We'll have the show for you and a complete recap of the opening week in the Canadian Football League.
Ticats first down, far side. Flutie made the catch. Or Andrew Grigg.
Andrew Grigg has been an interesting story throughout his career. 7 years, all with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Has not once been over 1,000 yards, but boy, has he ever been close. Last year, 878, 122 yards short of 1,000. Year before that, he was 117 short, and the year before that, 111.
Picked up 4 on the previous play, 2nd and 6. McManus far side, and Grigg again on the outs.
Shante Peoples, John, is going to get a late hit on Danny McManus. And we saw this in our first game of the season in Calgary a couple of nights ago.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Saskatchewan 58, first down.
The officials have been told this year that late hits on the quarterback will not be tolerated at all. And if it's even close, the flag will come out.
Reason for the Rider problems right there. 9 penalties, 75 yards, and the Ticats have been error-free, or at least caught for nothing tonight.
Well, that's almost the entire football field. You know, that's a lot of real estate you're giving out for freebies for Hamilton.
Ticats just inside the Saskatchewan 45. McManus has Corey Grant. Grant spins for an extra couple and will come close to a first down. McCalla over to cover on Corey Grant.
Well, they may not be big, but the Saskatchewan defense is very quick. And they'll get over there. Once the ball is thrown, they'll rally in a hurry. And Grant tries to make a couple of moves down the sideline. And he's going to see a wave of green jerseys right after that catch. New defensive coordinator this year in Saskatchewan as well as Richie Hall. A different philosophy than a year ago.
Corey Grant got enough for the first down. Ronald Williams again. He has run extremely well, over 100 yards. And 5 more there. Troy Asbell made the tackle. 116 yards for Ronald Williams, including a wonderful 35-yard run.
A lot of those yards right behind the big guy, Gary Brown, the biggest offensive lineman, 6'4", 332. He is so big. Some of our crew flew out with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and this is a 737, and this plane, I understand, is like bouncing off the tarmac because it's so heavy. And Gary,
it's not all Gary Brown.
Well, no, but Gary Brown is walking down. I mean, look at the onion. I mean, that's a big onion. Gary Brown is walking down the aisle of the plane, and he's got to walk sideways. He's so big. He can't walk down the aisle of a plane. They barely got off the ground, and our crew's not flying with the Ticats anymore. They're too big. They were a little shaky in that flight.
4 yards to gain. This is 2nd and 6. Ticats have dominated the Roughriders so far, but haven't made it to the end zone yet. McManus goes for it here. Flutie has the catch and is number 3 all time. One ahead of Ray Elgart with that catch. 831 career catches for Darren Flutie.
Well, take a good look at it because it's vintage McManus to Flutie. Because you know what? Darren Flutie made it up on the fly. He read the coverage. Danny McManus was on the same page with him, threw that football before he made his break, and that puts him past Ray Elgart and in 3rd spot.
Now it's up to the Saskatchewan defense to come up with a huge play here to keep the Tiger Cats out of the end zone. Hamilton leading 12-3.
Oh, baby.
Naked bootleg, and here's McManus. He'll score. Danny McManus has the touchdown. And he didn't have to be speedy on that play, did he?
That's another piece of tape for the Danny McManus highlight reel.
This is in real speed as we replay it for you, folks.
Well, he gets the entire defense for Saskatchewan so concerned with Ron Williams. And 1,000, 2 steamboats, 3 steamboats, and he's in the end zone. You know, but the benefit of the running game in Ron Williams, when your running back has almost 100 yards in 1 quarter alone, the defense will get pretty preoccupied with number 24, and that's when the quarterback can sneak out around the end.
Well, they got to watch the speedster, number 14, too. 14-yard touchdown. His longest in his career was 26 into the end zone, but the Ticats are dominating right here at Taylor Field. Danny McManus raced into the end zone for the first touchdown tonight, 14 yards on the play.
Well, this is George White right here, and he's just worried about Ron Williams, who's back in the backfield there, and he comes flying over to get Williams and has to throw on the air brakes to get back, and can't even, he's so far in there he can't catch even Danny McManus.
Flags are down on the kickoff following the touchdown. Darren Flutie, part of the scoring drive with a milestone catch, moving into 3rd spot all time among CFL receivers.
Well, Darren Flutie will be in the
Illegal
Canadian
kickoff.
Football League
Hamilton, number 3.
Hall of Fame.
Saskatchewan.
And boy, he's made a ton of catches just like that one.
Career catch 831, and that moves him past Ray Elgard, the former Saskatchewan great, into 3rd place all time in number of catches.
Well, he's just been so consistent throughout his career, and pretty tough receiver too. He doesn't miss many games.
Riders take the option of first down at the 45 after the illegal kickoff. Keep it on the ground with Darren Davis. That's his first carry of the night, and that's a little surprising to me when you look at what he was able to achieve last year and the breakaway potential that he does have. Chris Zarka had 2 carries before Davis.
Well, what they're excited about him too is that he proved his blocking in training camp. And he's not a big guy. He's only 200 pounds.
Davis has 7. What the Riders need is 2nd and short. This is 2nd and 3. But there's nowhere to go for Davis that time, and that looked like a play that was broken in the backfield. 1,024 yards, and he didn't play every game last year. His average 6.4 per carry.
Well, that's what's most impressive about it. When you take him and Rock Preston, 6.4 for Davis. Rock Preston in Calgary, when he did get a chance to play, had a 7.1 yard average. Every time he touched the ball, you get 6.5 yards. If you do the math,
you don't need a quarterback, do you?
You don't need a quarterback.
Freeman out to the 25. Another penalty marker goes down after the return. 10 yards on the return. The punt traveled 45.
Well, I mentioned this guy will be in the Hall of Fame. Darren Flutie, in his career, has only been shy of 1,000 yards twice. That was in 1995 and 1991, and both those years he didn't play the entire season due to injuries. Here's the catch to put him past Ray Elgard for 3rd in the all-time receptions list. Nice little curl reading the defense. It comes up with what he made look easy was a tough catch.
Coming into the game, he was 143 yards short of Don Narcisse and his 3rd place standing of 12,366 yards in 3rd spot. So Narcisse is within shooting distance, although it may not happen tonight. Then again, Flutie and McManus have been something special so far. Ronald Williams, the Pestock, lost his helmet in that pile, making the tackle.
You know, John, these are knowledgeable football fans here in Saskatchewan, and they could sense that their team is reeling a little bit, and the crowd started to get pumped up just before the snap of that ball, and they can sense the urgency that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have to be feeling right now.
Well, and it's up to the defense right now to get it back in a hurry, and a turnover would be pretty nice right now for the Riders. A long way from being out of it. Here's the crowd.
Yeah, here they go. blitz.
But that gets them out of a heap of trouble. McManus to Flutie once more. How about this? Not the fastest or the shiftiest, just the best. McManus said that about Flutie.
Well, that's right. There's been some McManus to Flutie magic throughout the years. There's combinations that you look back in football, and it could be Montana to Rice, Steve Young to Jerry Rice, those kind of combinations.
Or Gretzky to Curry.
Gretzky to Curry, and McManus to Flutie is certainly one of them.
Didn't work there. He was going for Ronald Williams. So Flutie is going against Eddie Davis tonight, a veteran Calgary Stampeder import to Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and when they're in man-to-man, that's the matchup you're going to see for the most part. Eddie Davis trying to find where Darren Flutie is to make sure that they get a veteran on top of him, and there's Eddie Davis right there trying to get the jam, run with Flutie. Flutie did a nice little subtle push-off. Now, he didn't get the ball on that play, but that's the matchup we're watching throughout this game. Veteran on veteran.
2nd and 10, Ticats at the 27. Williams, and into a pile of green jerseys. Led by George White.
That's what the fans wanted. A couple of high fives in the stands, and get the punt return team on the field.
Osbaldiston has had a busy kicking night, but this is the first time he'll be called on to punt. He's been kicking field goals so far, and the one convert, of course. Too deep for the Roughriders. This is Bendras calling for it at the 30. Flag down on a block from behind on a Tiger Cat. And Bendras never got up ahead of steam.
Yet another penalty that'll likely hurt Saskatchewan. You know, one of the concerns for the Hamilton defense, especially Don Southern, the coordinator, has been that here's what happens in a coordinator's office. He has a board up on his office with the players' names, and beside the names is either a number or a letter. The numbers range from 1 to 10, or there's a letter there. That's the years of experience beside the player. Well, when Don Southern looks up on his board, he sees 3 R's.
Saskatchewan 25, first down.
Omar Evans did not make a heads-up play here.
Terry Billups is one of those R's. Dwayne Butler another, and Mathis is the 3rd R, and the R stands for rookie. And when you have rookies in the secondary, coaches will tell you that a rookie is worth 1 loss for every rookie that you have on the field. If that's the case, the Hamilton Tiger Cats have 3 losses in their secondary alone. Coaches say that. I don't say that. Coaches say that.
Roughriders from the 17. Darren Davis. Got it going that time.
What a move.
Joe Montford made the tackle on Darren Davis after a 23-yard gain.
One of the best tacklers at the safety position in the league is Rob Hitchcock. Joe Mumford misses him at the point of attack. Mumford's high and left on your screen there. Now watch the move in the open field that freezes Rob Hitchcock, number 42. Mumford is wide for contain and then can't get back. Davis' speed takes over.
Riders pick up 23. Graves puts it up. Davis again, away from 1, 2 Tiger Cats to the outside. This place is alive now. That's 13 yards more.
It's alive because Darren Davis is involved. That pass is as good as a running play. Short passing game. If he gets the ball in his hands, make a couple of people miss, and the crowd get on their feet.
Davis had a pretty nice night, week 16 against the Eskimos, 220 rushing yards. Shotgun for Graves again on first down. That one was tipped. 2 flags, 1 on each side of the field.
Looked like a couple of Ticats jump. Joe Montford, one of them.
I think 77 might have got a quick start there, too.
Big Mike Philbrick.
Mike Philbrick.
Offside, Hamilton 77. First down repeated.
Well, they caught 77. You see the D-line starts to breathe a little harder, too, when you run the ball on him. See Mike Philbrick trying to catch his breath a little bit and maybe tried to anticipate the snap count.
Most impressive Rough Rider drive of the night. Davis again. On 1st and 5, he may have enough for another first down. Lots of experience along that Saskatchewan offensive line. John Terry, Andrew Green, Jeremy O'Day, Dan Comiskey, and Gene McCoskey.
Well, when you're talking John Terry, here's a guy that, other than last year, for 3 straight years was the team's nominee for outstanding lineman. There's only one other player in the history of Saskatchewan that was nominated 3 straight years or more, and that was Roger Aldag. So you start putting John Terry in the Roger Aldag kind of category, you're saying something. Right beside Andrew Green, who was last year's nominee.
Aldag nominated a total of 8 times, and he won the national award a couple of times as well. Marvin Graves unbeaten in preseason as Saskatchewan's starting quarterback. A slow start tonight, but he really does like the offense that has been assembled in Saskatchewan.
Well, the thing I like about this offense is we really don't have to press anything. I think we have a solid running game. I think our passing game, short and long, is pretty efficient. And I think the thing about this offense, we can let the game come to us. We'll see what they do defensively. Of course, they don't show everything in preseason, so we'll go out there with our base package and see what they're going to do defensively against our looks, and we'll just go from there.
This Rider team is alive. First down here. Graves in trouble. Gets to the outside, and he was hammered there. Wayne Butler hammered the Saskatchewan quarterback. A penalty marker was down before that.
Marvin Graves doesn't like that one again. That's another situation where the officials are going to protect the quarterbacks, and that doesn't mean just in the pocket. Even when they start running, you better not hit them even close to that sideline. You know, maybe a couple of years ago that would have been okay. Not anymore. They're going to protect the quarterbacks.
He was obviously going out.
No question. And he had a Hamilton Tiger Cat on his back, so it's a good call either way by the officials. That was Gonzalo Floyd that was grabbing him. You know, Marvin Graves, last year when he arrived, won 1 game at the end of the season and lost a close one to BC by just 2 points and really looked poised in the pocket. And at that time, he was about 25 pounds.
Illegal contact on a receiver, number 7, Hamilton. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton 41. First down.
So Dwayne Butler took the second call.
Things have a way of starting to even out, and those penalties are starting to even out a little bit too. Take one more look at the hit on Marvin Graves, who's moving pretty well. I mentioned he lost 25 pounds in the offseason, came back in great shape. Definitely late hit.
Yeah, Gonzalo Floyd grabbed him by the...
Trying to hold him up.
Trying to hold him up. Yes, he grabbed him by the shirt, and Butler hammered him. So the result with Graves, okay, is not bad for Saskatchewan. Total of 25 yards. With the penalties added in, Riders are set up for the first time inside the 25 at about the 21. Davis again, averaging 6.4 yards through 2000 season, and he's been a big part of this drive, Suits.
Oh, it's been the Davis drive. You can add the 25 and the penalty, but up until then, it was the Darren Davis drive, the triple D.
And 5 carries, 39 yards, and he wasn't busy in the first quarter at all.
Well, and you heard Marvin Graves when he talked about that offense. He said, you know, we've got a good running game. What they weren't doing is using it.
Riders look at 2nd and 5. Ticat 16.
Hitchcock's coming.
Inside the 5. French is stopped there. Jason French made the catch. They were a little short of the touchdown, although he tried to put on a pretty good act.
When you're a veteran offensive line, and we've talked about the Saskatchewan offensive line, you can pick up blitz. Look at that. Middle of your screen is the safety, Rob Hitchcock. He's coming in. He's picked up right there in the point of attack by Zarka. Now, they're all on the same page. They're blitzing everybody in that front 7, including the safety, and everyone was picked up, giving Graves time to throw.
Riders set up. First and goal to go at the 2. And Saskatchewan has its first touchdown. They gave it to Chris Zarka.
The feeling in this building is electric when the fans get into it. And if your hair's not happy, you're not. That's happy hair right there.
Happy hair, happy fans. 2:06 to halftime. The convert is good. The Roughriders have a touchdown after a very sluggish start in the first quarter, but somehow they have a better feeling about their football team now. Only a 2-yard plunge for Zarka, but the drive was impressive.
Darren Davis carries the load all the way down to the 4-yard line. Chris Zarka gets the payoff, and a 25-yard couple of penalties in there also helped that drive. But the key to the drive, without a doubt, was the insertion of the running game.
A couple of penalties helped get the Roughriders a little closer, and Jason French, a rookie, number 87, caught one to get them down to the 2-yard line. But now it's a 9-point game.
Well, it's a 9-point game, but there's a couple of intangibles that are now just trying to find a place to stand, and I'm talking about old Mo, momentum, kind of standing in midfield, not sure which way to go right now, and after an 8-play drive for Saskatchewan, he's kind of leaning over to that green sideline. Plus, you got a packed house at Taylor Field that is now off their hands.
Yeah, the fans were a little quiet through most of the first quarter. And I don't know if the Roughriders were nervous or tentative or what, but they really didn't show anything offensively in the opening 15 minutes. This is Jeff Johnson returning for the Ticats. Solid return for the product of York University. He's out across the 40 with a 27-yard jaunt.
Well, you never know what Danny Barrett is thinking, you know, when he's putting together the game plan, but everyone all offseason and through the preseason was talking about the running game in Saskatchewan, and I'm speculating, but maybe Danny Barrett goes in and says, hey, let's come out passing in the first, see if we can catch him off guard a little bit. Well, it didn't happen. Second quarter, he settles back in to that running game, and that's what's made it happen here for Saskatchewan.
Definitely a tentative start, and still a ways to go to get back to even with the Ticats. Into the final 2 minutes of the opening half. Hamilton first down. McManus has Mike Morreale, and Mike Morreale has a first down. Interesting tackle down there by Omar Morgan as he stood Morreale right up.
Well, you can see that defensively now Saskatchewan wants to become a little more aggressive. They want to start sending linebackers. When they do that, though, they have to be careful simply because there's a veteran behind the center in Hamilton, and that's Danny McManus. Pretty good at reading blitzes. But, you know, even defensive coordinators like Richie Hall get caught up into the momentum thing. The swing is coming to their side, and he says, let's send some pressure, see if we can keep that momentum rolling.
Another Hamilton first down at the 53. McManus has Ronald Williams. And that'll be another 10 yards. At least Travis Smith made the tackle.
When you talk to Danny McManus, you know, it's amazing when you ask him about his success and what he attributes it to. And he'll always say, I think most importantly is I keep that even emotional level. I mean, it's not too high with the good part and not too low when things start to go wrong. And you know, Saskatchewan comes back with a big drive. McManus very calmly comes out and does some things offensively.
Well, he does show a little emotion once he scampers to the end zone for 14 yards.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton 66. First and 10, first down.
Whoa. Steve Salter, who's a backup offensive lineman.
Well, Salter's in there for Gary Brown. Remember, Gary Brown got injured. He was on the sideline. There's Salter right there. And he just takes that shot after the whistle blows on Sheldon Napusta.
First and 10, Ticats back at the 50 now. McManus on the money. Mike Morreale has his second catch in a row.
You know, and Danny McManus is also a guy who understands momentum and how important it is in the ebb and flow of a football game. And he knows that he doesn't even necessarily have to come out here and score in this drive. He just needs to put about 3 or 4 first downs together, take the crowd out of it again, get the field position back. Everything's fine.
Yeah, because he's taking time off the clock till the half here. I mean, he'd like points, obviously, but Ronald Williams on first down for a little better than 5.
Well, he may not show a whole lot of emotion, talking Danny McManus, but there are a few guys who do. You know, the one right in the back there, Matt Dunnigan, he shows a lot of emotion. Oh, that's that guy back there. He shows him. Well, this guy down here, well, depends. I mean, that guy can show emotion too.
McManus, a little too far for Darren Flutie. And Carrot Top's just kind of a quiet guy.
Well, he's the GM. He's supposed to be calm back there and just sort of do his thing. But that's exactly what Danny McManus wanted to accomplish. I mean, that for the Hamilton Tiger Cats offensively is called a victory. You come in, you quiet the crowd, everyone's quiet again. You've got momentum and you got field position. You got your field goal kicker out there to try and get a few more points.
And you've taken all but 51 seconds off the clock for the Roughriders. 50-yard field goal try for Osbaldiston. Whoa, perfect string continues for Paul Osbaldiston. 22, 42, 39, 32, and 50-yard field goals.
Very nice from Paul Osbaldiston. Last year, he was perfect inside of 40 yards. He hit on 81% of his field goals. Just an incredible season for Paul Osbaldiston. As long as last year 52, but when you're perfect inside of 40, that's called dependability.
43 of 53 overall, 81%, as you say. Third all-time scoring in Canadian football behind Louis and Mark.
And you know, unlike a lot of kickers in any league, he's also a leader on the football team.
What's the draw, Lamar?
Because of his veteran status. So sure he wasn't over the line of scrimmage when he threw that football. He took a little too long to try and decide. There's a flag down on the field, and I think Marvin Graves was over the line when he let it go.
He hit number 86 right between the 8 and the 6, however.
Well, that's a bad spot.
Yeah.
You don't want to hit the receivers in the numbers.
Illegal forward pass, Saskatchewan number 7. First down repeated.
Line of scrimmage was the 35. I think he was around the 37 when he let that one go. You know, receivers all the time, when they're in the sand lot or they're growing up, they're always practicing that sweet little catch on the sideline where they keep their feet in, way above there, and they ask the quarterback,
touch the toes down,
throw it really high so I can do it. And then when you throw one in the numbers, that's when it hits the ground, because they don't practice that.
Davis for a couple, but time is running out on the Roughriders now. 35 seconds till halftime. Time to regroup. And Saskatchewan really got off to a sluggish start on offense.
Well, they have something to build on, though, and late in that half when they got that drive through the ground game. Ron Lancaster, on the other hand, will probably go in there and just say to his troops, listen, we're moving the ball effectively. We're going to keep it on the ground, but when we get in scoring range, got to come away with majors and bury these guys.
Second down and 14, Saskatchewan. Here comes the heat on Graves again. Mars. First down. 7 seconds left. So they needed 14. Marsh got them the yards, but they're in a little trouble with the clock right now.
Well, you got time for one more play. And if you do it real quick, maybe 2, but you need probably 20, 25 yards to get into field goal range, so you're looking at probably one play, and that play is just throw it up, Hail Mary, and see if she answers.
Well, he didn't take a timeout, so zeros are on the clock right now. He's got to get this to the end zone. Not a big enough arm. It's picked off.
What's amazing is Demetrius Vendros was open around the 10-yard line. Marvin Graves just couldn't get it that far.
No, he tried to throw it. That was all he had. I'm pretty sure of that. He wound up on that one and gave it all he had. And Bendros was back there.
He buys a ton of time. He's going to end up to the right of your screen, and Bendros had snuck in behind the entire Hamilton coverage. By the time this all ends up, Marvin Graves sees him and then just, oh my
look at
God.
that. He threw everything he had behind that.
Look at Bendros, 86 in behind everybody. But that is like, you're talking about maybe, you know, he's going to sneak over here. You're talking about like an 85, 90-yard throw, and I'm pretty sure that only Matt Dunnigan could have made that.
Matt would have made that throw.
Matt probably would have muscled it down there, but other than that, not many can.
Wouldn't have been a spiral.
Probably not.
But it might have lived there. Ticats have the lead. It's halftime at Taylor Field, 22-10.
You want me
With descriptive.
Here are the halftime numbers brought to you by Dodge. Matt, you're sitting by the telestrator. Would you mind, please, circling that one key number for us? I think it's the yeah, it's the one right there. 138 yards rushing for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 124 of those at the half for Ronald Williams, although it's still a two-score game, 22-10. Hamilton leading at the half on the road, trying to extend their win streak to 6 in a row over Saskatchewan. Second half action coming right up.
Marvin Graves had a slow start in the first quarter, got things rolling a little bit, and finally got the Roughriders into the end zone.
Well, Saskatchewan won the coin toss and deferred to the second half, so they've chosen here to take the football, see if they can't get their offense on the field and get some momentum early.
Second half underway with a short kick. Riders will have good field position on the return by Chris Zarka. Short kickoff. Here's how the quarterbacks stacked up in the opening half. Clear advantage to Danny McManus.
Well, the good thing for Danny McManus is 0 interceptions, because you know he's been prone to throw a couple in the past.
And the Graves interception didn't hurt the Roughriders. It was on the final play of the half, and it was the desperation pass.
Well, Danny McManus really benefited from the running game, though, in that first half. Ron Williams having a big half takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback.
Riders beginning out across the 50, first down. Rock Preston got the first carry of the second half.
Well, we haven't had a whole lot of rock and roll in this game yet from Saskatchewan.
Well, we haven't seen roll at all.
Exactly, and we've seen rock very, very briefly. Roll, of course, making the team as a wide receiver.
And a roll number 15, rock number 14, the Preston boys. They had a great preseason and have not been a factor yet tonight. Only a yard for Rock on the previous play. 2nd and 9 for Graves. And there's the roll. See, I guess we just had to mention them, and all of a sudden they'd be here.
We just had to cue the band. We had to cue the band, get a little rock and roll, and away we go.
Rock first, and now roll.
Well, yeah, but watch the end of this play, though. Roll's going to turn on the end, but he doesn't come back to the football. He kind of waits on it. Gave Mathis just enough time to almost get his hand in there, and Roll is going to have to learn to come back to that football.
Now, in preseason, these guys had great games. Led the Riders in 6 offensive categories.
There's Rock. Now the band's in full swing.
I guess it's easy to figure that they're going to roll next.
Well, that's what they have in Saskatchewan. Darren Davis gets a breather right now, and you know that will pay off in the fourth quarter when you get Rock Preston in there. He goes for a few plays. Darren Davis comes in for a few plays. And in the fourth quarter, both are fresh. Whereas, you know, for Ron Williams and Hamilton, he's running the whole time.
So Rock Preston on the sidelines for this play. His brother playing to the far side. And that's not where Graves went. No catch.
Well, Sean Woodson can turn around and just say thank you very much to Rob Hitchcock. Woodson was in pretty good position, but look at 24 up at the top of your screen there. Rob Hitchcock covered a whole bunch of field. I mean, he went about 35 yards when the football was in the air and got there to help Sean Woodson.
With the coverage on Demetris Bendros. McCallum made his first from 27. This will be spotted for a 44-yard try.
Oh, good hold.
McCallum is good. The Riders inch 3 points closer. And you're the only one in the stadium who watched the hold.
It was a good one. Dylan Ching. Look at this. This is tough. Down low, fumbles, gets it up, bam. That's not easy.
That makes it 22-13. Taylor Field for Wendy's Friday Night Football. Great crowd here.
How many?
I don't know.
Sean, 23,421. You talk about preseason victories and how they don't mean a whole lot to the players at times. Well, they mean a lot to the fans because this is a great opening day crowd.
Here come the Tiger Cats again, Ray. Uh-oh. And here comes Ronald Williams around the left side. See a penalty marker down there.
Ron Williams on a roll, and it continues in the second half. But isn't coming back.
I think it might be.
Holding. Hamilton 38. First down.
Matt Robichaud caught there for holding in his first year out of Bishops.
To get back to that crowd, that's the biggest crowd for a Hamilton Tiger Cat game at Taylor Field in 4 years. So yeah, the preseason does mean a little something or two to the fans here in Saskatchewan.
There's terrific optimism about this football team. In Saskatchewan, far side, and McManus is too far. Put that one into the bench looking for Mike Morielli.
Well, Danny Barrett's got the pressure on him this year. Last year, this team, despite showing a little bit of signs in the middle of the season.
Well, they won 4 in a row. That was
a
great run. They beat a lot of good teams at midseason. Beat Edmonton, BC, Winnipeg, Toronto.
Had an overtime tie with Calgary, a high-scoring affair. They were in a bunch of games, and Roy Shivers and Danny Barrett, very high expectations for this squad.
2nd and 20 for the Tiger Cats. The Rider fans have McManus right where they want him. Griggs made the catch, but another flag.
Well, 2 things. The ball is perfect. The throw is absolutely perfect. I mean, there's not many plays for 2nd and 20. And, you know, one thing you can do is just take the ball back there, throw it to the outside, hope your guy gets it. And if he doesn't, it just goes harmlessly out of bounds. But that ball was thrown perfectly. Now, did he push off?
That's the question right now.
Andrew Grigg was running down the field there. And did he push off right at the end of that play on Ladolfius McCalla?
Forward pass interference. Hamilton 85 is declined. Illegal block to the head. Hamilton 68. That penalty is accepted. 2nd down repeated.
Well, obviously 85 is not the right number. Andrew Grigg is called for the interference.
Well, Dave Hack gets called in the second play, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders had their choice. 68 is Hack, and you see him get his hands way up in the face and in the chin. Shante People. So they had the choice of that one or the Andrew Grigg push-off. Either way, ball's coming back. Now, remember I said there wasn't many plays for 2nd and 20?
There's fewer for 2nd and 30, right?
No question.
Well, that's what we look at now. Whoa!
Oh, that was almost going the other way.
Corey Grant got his hands on it. The ball stayed up for a split second, and there was an opportunity for 6 for a Saskatchewan defender far side.
Omar Morgan had a chance.
Yeah, he did. I'm not so sure he saw it, but...
Well, he broke downhill on the play, meaning coming right back at the receiver, and that ball is thrown way up there. Corey Grant climbed the ladder just to touch it.
And Omar Morgan actually went the other way. He wasn't spying the ball.
Saskatchewan should get great field position after this punt. Bedros has got some speed back there, too.
Heads up.
A low bullet from Osbaldiston. Bedros right at midfield. Looks for a little room to the outside, and he couldn't find it. What a super tackle by Clifford Ivory. Still, it's It's a decent spot for the Roughriders to begin. Trailing 22-13 on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It's Wendy's Friday Night Football.
Clifford Ivory saves the day for the Hamilton Tiger Cats because Saskatchewan had the wall set up perfectly. Demetrius Bendros, look at this block is set up. Now, if you roll a little bit further, Bendros is trying to get around the corner to the right. Okay, now freeze it right there. There's another great block. That's one guy to beat. He beats him, he's gone. Can't get around Clifford Ivory. That saves a ton of yardage for number 13.
Brock Preston on first down. And he broke through somehow. Looked like he was stopped, but Preston will have another Saskatchewan first down. Hitchcock forced him out after a 15-yard gain. I thought he was trapped in that pile. I really did.
Rock and Roll was just playing that G chord pretty calmly in the first half, and then he went to an F sharp and bounced out of there somehow. That's what the coaches will say this in the meeting. Wrap up. And that means go give him a big bear hug. Don't let him go. Don't just hit him. A lot of defenders nowadays in the NFL and the CFL are just throwing the shoulder in for the pretty hit, the big hit, not wrapping up as much.
From the Tiger Cats 50. Graves escapes. He's got a couple, and he'll get more.
Sure will.
Flags, sliding feet first, and Jason Lamar ended up on top of him.
Late hit again on the quarterback will keep this drive alive, but Demetrius Bendros was upset after the play because he's wide open. And Marvin Graves seems to be a little tentative to pull the trigger because he was looking that way. Bendros was in the slot back position, went down there, was open by 5 yards.
Major foul, piling on. Hamilton 36, first down.
Jason Lamar, a rookie out of Toledo.
Again, late hit. He's down.
That's real late, though, Glenn.
Yeah, he was sliding feet first. Roll Preston is also open. He's going down the sideline, gets around the jam. He's open there and was pushed out, so he's allowed to come back in. And Demetrius Bendros on the same side, also wide open, and Marvin Graves just didn't want to pull the trigger.
So the net for Saskatchewan about 16. And a first down. It's Brock Preston again. Montford grabbed him.
See, I'll show you something about the running game for Saskatchewan and what it does. If you're making Joe Montford stop his pass rush and cut back underneath to make a tackle on the running back, you're taking the best pass rusher in the CFL out of his game. Now watch what Montford has to do. Rather than come full bent for leather there, he's got to come back under. Now watch this. See, he takes a step, he's got to hesitate. Now he comes under, he's got to make the tackle. What Montford wants to do is blitz every time. Go after the quarterback.
Graves on second down. He won't get it away. Ben Huff came through and wrapped him up. And a decent loss of yards here may make the field goal a little more difficult.
Don Southern did a nice job of changing up the formation just slightly. See, this is Huff right here and behind. See, he's not up in his normal spot on the line of scrimmage. It confuses the blocking scheme a little bit because he can hit this one on the run. And when he does, he runs right by Andrew Green. You know, we've talked a little bit about what, a joke the XFL was, because, it really was. But Ben Huff is one of the products of the NFL or the XFL, and if there's one good thing from that, there was some players that were found from the XFL, but that was the only good.
Huff makes a play that makes this a 51-yard field goal drive for McCallum. He's wide. Grant out of the end zone for the Tiger Cats. Brooks Finley finally tracked him down, so another penalty flag goes down, and McCallum misses a 51-yarder.
Now it's getting a little violent after the fact now. Butler involved in a little bit of a scrap down there. That's Dylan Ching. Oh, there's Brooks Finley in a bit of a fight, and the Butler throws Finley down. He gets up and he starts swinging a little bit.
Holding. Hamilton 53. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton 13. First down.
Well, the Riders draw a bit of a break there because the Tiger Cats will be penned in deep. Lancaster didn't like it.
Well, yeah.
Because there was a Saskatchewan player involved as well.
It's usually the retaliation. It happens. Daryl Adrolin, the special teams coach, done a nice job and really was the special teams in Hamilton that dominated the preseason for this team. I mean, they won a couple of games in the preseason on special teams.
Well, and Oz Baldiston is winning this one tonight.
That's right.
Ronald Williams should have been stopped in his tracks, but he doesn't get much more than 4. Aaron Collins and Mitchell making the tackle.
Colin Scrivener in there complaining to the officials. He was trying to find his helmet.
4, second and 6.
The field general is not allowed on the field anymore. That's one of the new rules in the CFL this year. They're trying to stop the coaches from coming out onto the field to talk to the officials, and they're trying to see that white line now is a magic line. He steps over there. Right now, last year, he'd likely been way over here somewhere. He's not going to be able to do that this year.
2nd and 5, Tiger Cats. Another flag goes down on the line of scrimmage. McManus is on his backside. Shante Peoples with a little pressure on Danny Mack.
A good signing for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Get Shante Peoples over here. Again, pure pass rusher. And one thing that you have to know, guys like Peoples and Joe Mumford, is you better block them. It's a mix-up, obviously a mix-up in the blocking scheme for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And this is either one or two things had to happen.
Offside, Saskatchewan 58. 2nd down repeated.
Well, that's how he got there so quickly.
Well, he had to line up offside. But you know what happened is either a back has to go and pick him up, or Dave Hack has to slide out to get him. And what'll happen oftentimes is the tackle will think the back's got him, the back thinks the tackle's got him, and pretty soon he's free.
Well, it was costly for the Roughriders because they had the Tiger Cats nailed in, and now it's 2nd down, less than a yard to go. McManus will keep himself. And that'll be a 1st down. Ticats had a solid first half, but that was their first down of this half.
That's Cody Ledbetter, the backup quarterback that Ron Lancaster's talking to, and Cody Ledbetter has the headsets on to Ron Lancaster Jr. in the booth.
Talk about hard luck for Ledbetter. When Danny McManus got his first injury in 12 years, and Ledbetter has been his backup for about 5 years. Ledbetter was already out of the lineup and couldn't go in and relieve McManus. He was out with an earlier injury. It was last year. Here's Ronald Williams, who's running wild tonight. Jackie Mitchell. And Peoples was into the Ticat backfield again. 16 more yards
well,
for Ronald Williams.
A couple guys John missed. Shante Peoples missed at the first attempt and then ended up tackling him in the second attempt. And Travis Smith had him dead to rights in the hole and didn't make the tackle. I mean, we're going to take a nice close look at Peoples. Up the field, he reads it, slides down, and then just gets picked up by Gary Brown. Can't get in there to make the tackle. And Travis Smith, right at the point of attack, is in there. He has a chance, and he can't make the tackle. So Ron Williams pulls off some big yardage.
Ronald Williams running wild for the Tiger Cats. Hamilton leading Saskatchewan 22-13 on a perfect night for it. It's Wendy's Friday Night Football. Welcome back to Taylor Field in Regina.
Travis Smith has a chance to make the tackle on that last play in the backfield, but in fairness to him, he had to run around a big guy. This is Smith right here, and he's going to shoot through the gap. But right here is Gary Brown, and we talked about how big he is. Watch what Gary Brown does. He's going to step up the field. Now, right about there, stop it right there, guys. See, he's going to come across here. There's Shante Peoples and Travis Smith, and he has to run around Gary Brown to get there, and that's like a cab ride. And Ron Williams takes advantage of it.
Brown is a little on the huge side. Ticats looking at 1st and 10 at the 30. Ronald Williams again. And he's halfway to another 1st down.
Well, now, and I'm not keeping this officially, but it appears to me that Ron Williams is getting a lot of his yardage on the left side of that offensive line where Gary Brown lines up.
Opposite Colin Scrivener. He has 150 yards thus far tonight, Ronald Williams.
Well, you look at that left side, starting with Coulter, then Gary Brown, Seth Dittman. Big guys over there.
From the Ticat 35. right side this time with almost as much success.
Not for the first down, though. Looks like
a couple of yards, actually. He'll be a yard shy.
So he will. And they're going to bring in the big guys. Colin Scrivener, remember we talked about him early in the game. He was quotable. Very quotable. And of course the media guys are looking for that. I mean, they want to see that and start to stir things up a little bit. Colin Scrivener's been pretty quiet in the game. He was very vocal yesterday. Pretty quiet in this game so far. But it's a lot of football left.
Third down. A yard to go. Ticats go gambling here. Some early movement. McManus over the middle. No flags anywhere, so it would appear McManus has the first.
Well, this is nerve-wracking for the head coach when you gamble, you know, because it all depends on where the ref puts his foot. It looks like they will have it.
BC Lions, Edmonton Eskimos kick off their seasons tomorrow night at BC Place. We'll be there for it. 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific time. Lions, Eskimos.
The defense of the title begins for the BC Lions.
And what a great evening it is here at Taylor Field. Ronald Williams.
Danny McManus has been in second and less than 5 all game long.
Because of Ronald Williams.
Because of Ronald Williams. And remember when I said there's not many plays for 2nd and 20 or 2nd and 30. Well, there is a whole book full of plays for 2nd and 5 or less.
It's funny they don't seem to be going to many pages in that book, with the exception of Ronald Williams right,
yeah,
Ronald Williams left.
That's Ron Lancaster Jr. in there, the offensive coordinator, and he's just looking at the Ron Williams page in that book right now.
McManus in trouble. He'll put it up. He has a reception. Grigg went up high to bring it down in front of Omar Morgan.
Grigg had his problems last year, but he's made 2 really tough catches. One didn't count. That was earlier in the game along the sideline. But this is a tough catch because Omar Morgan is right on his back, reaches around and tries to pull that left hand out of there. And yet Andrew Grigg comes up with a Gary Brown trying to take Shante Peoples and just pushes him past the quarterback.
Laboring a little bit from an injury earlier is Mr. Brown. This guy is flying again tonight. Ronald Williams one more time.
Well, Gary Brown's twisted his ankle in the first half, and what they did at halftime is they went in there and put a spat on the ankle. It's called just taping over the shoe. You see his right shoe there. It's got all kinds of white tape on it. That's just to try and put like a cast on that right leg, but you can see that he's limping. He's one tough cookie. It's going to be tough to get him out of the game. The backup is Steve Salter.
Another 2nd and short for the Tiger Cats. This time, Ronald Williams, I was going to say couldn't get away, but he did escape from one Saskatchewan tackler. He'll come up short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and a yard to go. Aaron Collins and Travis Smith were there that time.
Well, said he was a tough cookie. I maybe shouldn't mention the word cookie around him.
because he's had a few.
This is the original injury. This is when he twisted his ankle. That's him right there at the left guard position. He gets caught in the mix there. And right there he gets his ankle rolled on by his teammate. I believe it was Seth Dittman.
Yeah, I think he's had a few ginger snaps in his day.
That was John Wells who said that, Gary, if you're watching the tape.
Osbaldiston has been perfect tonight. And the streak continues.
Only just.
From 48. He's hit from 50, 32, 39, 42, and 22. That's 6 field goals for Osbaldiston.
If I'm not mistaken, that's approaching the record book pretty soon, aren't we? As I quickly try and leaf through the record book.
Yeah, well, you leaf through the book. I'll tell everyone there's 2:21 to go 3rd quarter, so there's lots of time to kick a few more. And there's still time for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to erase a 12-point deficit at 25-13. Ticats will open at home against the British Columbia Lions on Thursday. So the defending champs go in against the team that won it the year before next Thursday.
Okay, I found it for you. Most field goals regular season, Dave Ridgway had 8 in 1984 and 88, along with Mark McLaughlin in 96, and Ozzie himself
has 8
in 96. So 8 is the number to beat.
Well, he's perfect so far tonight. Ozzie talked about retiring a couple of years ago.
Until Ron Lancaster showed up.
Yeah, he came back to play with Lancaster, had a super season, won a Grey Cup. Bendros was the target, and it was low and inside.
Well, you know, the one concern for Don Southern and Ron Lancaster coming into this game was, well, I talked about it earlier, the R's back there in the secondary, the rookies. He has 3 of them, Terry Billups, Dwayne Butler, and Diedrich Mathis. And, you know, for the most part, they've done a pretty nice job tonight, because Curtis Marsh last year was the CFL's leading receiver, and we haven't mentioned his name a whole bunch.
1 catch, I do believe, for Marsh, who was All-Canadian last year. So far tonight, 2. He has 2. Graves in a second and long. Roll Preston made the catch. He's up and down the sidelines, and a huge play for Saskatchewan by Roll Preston in front of Sean Woodson.
Sean Woodson lines up at linebacker. He flies out there, and what he does is he gambles when the ball is in the air. Tries to go for the interception, and when he does and misses it, Roll Preston gets up and takes off down the sideline. You gamble, you better get there.
Well, he beat Mathis there.
Yeah, it was actually Mathis.
It was Woodson catching up to force him out of bounds. Net result, a 39-yard gain for the Riders, setting Saskatchewan up. Ticat 41. Bendros trying to turn the corner, and he does, but only grabs a couple of yards.
You know, defensively, what you're trying to do on a reverse like that or an end around is you're trying to string it out, and that means just get Bendros, who's right here, to go this way, not this way. And watch how that defense strings it out along the line of scrimmage. Step up, and they just keep the man in front of them. See, they're doing a nice job of making Bendros run sideline to sideline and not north-south. He's a master coordinating defenses.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer, Don Southern. Actually, a loss on the play of 3. This is 2nd and 13. So Graves is in the shotgun, a little pump fake. Had to throw in a hurry, no one home. Too many 2-and-outs for the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight, although they did pick up some substantial yardage in the play by Roll.
Well, you know, we talked about the rookies in the Hamilton secondary, and I guess what I'm a little bit surprised at is that when the Saskatchewan Roughriders want to throw the ball, why aren't they maybe testing them down the field a little bit more? Trying to get in behind some of these rookies, maybe 2 kind of moves, curl and go, out and up, those kind of things, and see if they can't get one of the young guys to step up and get in behind them. You know, if you're going to throw the football as much as Danny Barrett has asked Marvin Grace to do it, I'm a little surprised they haven't tried to test them deep.
Out of field goal range, so McCallum has to punt down to the 15. Darren Flutie has already passed a milestone tonight, moving into 3rd spot ahead of Ray Elgard on the all-time receivers list.
Well, we won't make the announcement here in the stadium that he's passed Ray Elgard because he was kind of a favorite in Taylor Field.
No wonder.
This is Elgard at his
Stick it in his face, Ray. He did that a time or 2, didn't he?
If you're a defensive back against Ray Elgard, you just didn't get too close to him. That was the theory. Trying to get to the ball before the ball gets to him, because if you don't, he's going to just slap you away like a mosquito.
Now, he was a little grumpy on game day, if memory serves me correctly.
Well,
a lot of fun when it was over.
Well, Ray Elgard, and I've said this before, but Ray Elgard was the only guy I can remember that never laughed at a coach's joke and could get away with it. You know how the coach walks around at stretch and tells a couple of jokes and everyone kind of laughs, even when they're not funny because you're trying to make the team?
Yeah.
Well, he never did. He would just look at the coach and say, that wasn't funny. But he could get away with it.
So I take it you laughed a lot.
Well, I was laughing at Ray being able to do that. But I was laughing the whole time.
But at the coach's joke.
Yeah, yes, Coach, that was really funny.
McManus looking for Flutie. Oh! He got one hand on it and almost dragged it home in front of Omar Evans.
Oh, I thought he was going to find a way to pull that in.
And the interesting thing is we've seen Darren Flutie haul in one or two like that in his career. Almost another one. That's the end of quarter 3. We'll be back.
Welcome back to the CFL Live studio. Dave, Matt, Eric, Chris along with you. It's kickers kind of game here, Schultze. Only 2 touchdowns in the ballgame, but that last drive where they got the 6th field goal at Apollo Balderson was huge.
No question, Dave. One of the most important possessions in football is when you get the ball in the shadows of your own goalpost, are you able to maintain it? They drive at 60-something yards. They kick a field goal. Instead of the game being even closer, suddenly Hamilton goes up by 12 points.
Well, yeah, Hamilton's rushing the ball. They're jamming it down Saskatchewan's throat. Randy Bowles, a guy that probably wasn't talked about much during preseason, he's been a key factor, opening up some of those holes for Ronald Williams. Hey, from Simon Fraser, he's having a huge game.
Good football player. I want to highlight a couple tough guys. First, David Hack, the right tackle for the Hamilton Ticats, has not been able to practice at all because of a severely hurt shoulder. There he gets beat on the inside. That's because of that injury. The other one, Gary Brown, you saw him limping around the football field. It's an unwritten rule in this league that it's not written in your contract, but you have to play through injuries. The only thing you can't play through is if it affects your performance. I'll tell you, David Hack and Gary Brown, a couple tough guys.
A couple of guys part of that Hamilton offensive line that Colin Scrivener was saying was not that good.
How does he like his crow?
Yeah, it's being served up so far, although it is a 12-point game heading into the 4th quarter. Back to the final quarter. Here again is John and Glenn.
Ready to begin the final quarter with the Ticats on top 25-13.
And maybe that is the good thing for Saskatchewan is that they're going to get decent field position and they're only down by 12. I mean, they've been dominated pretty much and they're only down by 12.
This is Royal Preston ready to return for the Riders. Not bad. To the far side and a nice return for the rookie. 27 yards. After 3 quarters, rushing 187 for Ron Williams, 85 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Possession time.
Yeah.
26:06.
That's why they have
54.
That's why they have the 12-point lead. But 12 points is nothing.
Actually, Williams only had 172 yards rushing. I should correct that. Danny McManus had that 14-yard run.
And that was gold.
For the touchdown. That's the Ticats' only touchdown.
And the only one Saskatchewan has given up in 3 games now.
From the 48. Time for Graves to step it up. That was tipped, but Zarka got it.
Demetrius Vendros on the left side of the formation has been running the same pattern over and over again and has been open over and over again, but it looks to me like Marvin Graves has lost a little bit of confidence in trying to get it into him. That one, he had him again, and he decided to dump it over to Zarka. Now, it turned out, but he's going to have to throw it down the field eventually.
Gain is 9, 2nd and 1. Riders got the first down. Marvin Graves. Guys TV on Tuesday with the Andrews from the Calgary Stampede.
Well, now that's a party.
Yeah.
Well, I hope Thea's ready for that party. That rocks. That Stampede goes off.
Graves from the shotgun. Looks for 6. He's got it. Curtis Marsh. Quiet all night. There's 6. There's a little fun at Taylor Field.
eventually you have to throw the ball down the field.
And you have to hook up with your number one receiver for a big catch. Curtis Marsh had an outstanding year last year to lead the CFL in catches and in yards. He also caught 5 touchdowns. Make that 11 touchdowns. He has one tonight. The Roughriders are back in this thing. 13 to go in the fourth quarter. Marvin Graves to Curtis Marsh. It's 25-20. Curtis Marsh is not shy as he celebrates his 37-yard touchdown catch.
Well, he's a game breaker. Well, and despite the attitude and some of the problems that he's caused over the last 2 years, or last year anyway, he is a game breaker, and Danny Barrett is trying to just keep that off the field stuff to a minimum.
Here's Jeff Johnson for the Tiger Cats, returning after the Saskatchewan touchdown. George White wrapped him up after a 22-yard return.
Well, Rob Hitchcock on that touchdown, it was the perfect play to call because he, by design here, it looked like, is trying to get over here and help to the left side of the field. And when he does that, he opens the middle of the field right down the hole for Marvin Graves because he really didn't look him off, but looked like by the design of the defense, Hitchcock was supposed to go over that side, and you see how late he is to come back and help out.
Third catch of the night, obviously the biggest one for Curtis Marsh and for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 5-point ball game. Let's see how the Ticats respond. McManus shotgun. Morelli wrapped up in a hurry. Jackie Mitchell got to him first.
Well, Curtis Marsh really took advantage of it, and sometimes for Marsh this will be something that he reads when he sees no safety. See, he sees it right now, no safety, I'm going right where he's supposed to be. It looked to me like the play was designed for Marsh to run to his left, but when he saw Rob Hitchcock out of the middle, he said, well, that's where I'm going. That's the easy throw for the quarterback.
McManus looks at 2nd and 7. Ticat 36. A little heat. He found Ronald Williams. Huge play. Omar Morgan came up and cut Williams down. Short of the first down. Ticats are kicking.
Unbelievable tackle from Omar Morgan. Omar Morgan, when he comes out of the shower and is soaking wet, is 170 pounds. He's coming one-on-one on Ron Williams at 240.
Well, he slowed him down enough.
That's a 70-pound difference. And he came up and stopped him.
He really did stop him. Then he got a little bit of help finally pinning him, but it was a great play. So Roll Preston is back to accept Josh Baldiston punt. Ozzie standing at his 25 across the 30 to get a good one away. Here's Roll Preston. Picked his way for about 8 on the return. 42-yard punts. Lots of time for football fun at Taylor Field left. Huge play by Omar Morgan.
Boy, was it ever. It was textbook tackle from Omar Morgan. Watch when he comes up here. This is him to the right of your screen. Now, he's going to come up and get a perfect, see there, perfect position. His shoulders are square and his feet keep moving. Explodes into the tackle, wraps up his arms, and hangs on until his friends can come. And that's a big play to make Hamilton punt the ball.
That sets up Saskatchewan first down at the Roughrider 38. Nice fake by Graves, throwing to the near side. Kennedy Nikiasen has his first catch.
Good call by Danny Barrett to have Marvin Graves move the pocket around.
I told you not to do that.
He's moving the pocket around now. He's not just staying back there right in the pocket. Now he's doing a little bootleg, getting outside, causing that Hamilton defensive line to move their feet. They're going to get out of breath before it's over.
Zarka explodes for another Saskatchewan first down.
And when you start to get tired, the first thing that falls off is your tackling. The tackling technique starts to drop. You're going to see this hole open up right in here for Zarka. See the tackling. You start to tackle with your arms only, not your feet anymore, because that fatigue starts to creep in. See, Mike Philbrick right now is down on one knee, and he's just kind of trying to get a breath. Big boys are getting tired.
Let's check out the game story thus far. Paul Osbaldiston has had a perfect night. Ronald Williams has been close to perfect.
Well, Darren Flutie moves into third, but because of that 37-yard catch, which is why it's in the game story, we got ourselves a game.
5-point differential as it stands right now. Game story brought to you by Sport Check CA, Canada's choice for sporting goods.
2 more field goals, and Paul Osbaldiston gets himself back in the record book one more time.
Well, he'd tie for a record he already shares, correct?
That's right. Darren Flutie, talking records, moves into third place, having himself a good night, and it's a night that's not over yet, because when the game is on the line, Danny McManus will look to Darren Flutie.
We told you that Flutie passed Ray Elgard, and now he sets his aim on Don Narcisse with 919 career catches, second all time.
You know, receivers, some receivers are fast, some are great route runners, and some just have great hands. And Don Narcisse may have had the best hands in CFL history. If it was close to him, he'd catch it.
But the guy at the top of the class is Alan Pitts, who retired after last season and a glorious career with the Calgary Stampeders. So Flutie has a way to go to get to the very top. Nice play action fake, and then he handed off actually to Davis. One fake, and then Davis took it, ran into Montford, but Darren Davis is having a solid second half.
If he gets a crease, he is gone. I mean, he is running with what we used to call fresh legs. We talked about that earlier. Rock Preston has given Darren Davis a couple of series where he can rest on the sideline, and now he comes in there in the fourth quarter. He hit that hole full speed.
It's all been in the second half for Saskatchewan, as you see. 2nd and 3 now at the Ticat 44. Graves puts it up. He'll get another first down. Curtis Marsh again. Clutch catch.
Well, we talked about Curtis Marsh, last year's #1 receiver against the rookie and Terry Billups, and for 3.5 quarters, Billups has done a nice job, and unfortunately for the rookie, it's something that you got to learn, is that it's a 4-quarter game, and Curtis Marsh is starting to take advantage now. He had that 37-yard touchdown, and now he catches that first down, so Marvin Graves starting to look to his #1 receiver from a year ago.
Into the final 9 minutes. And the Ticats weren't fooled that time. Chris Schelling steps up to make the tackle.
Schelling had to put on a little bit of weight. I mean, last year he played halfback, and halfback is back. That's another 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and the closer you get to the line of scrimmage, the bigger you got to be.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
I mean, that's just as simple as I can say it. You get closer to that line, the guys get bigger.
Loss of 1. This will be 2nd and 11. Critical play for Saskatchewan. Graves stands in, has a little time, looks to the far side, and there's a penalty marker down.
Maybe another late hit
on the QB, I think. Although Rock Preston is upset about something upfield.
Roughing the passer, Hamilton 36.
Jason Lamar, you know what happened, John? Rock Preston got grabbed when he went down the field, but where the flag was thrown was back at the
quarterback. Oh, yeah, no, I saw that call. But
yeah, and there's the hit again. I mean, two steps.
And that's twice for Lamar tonight.
That was a long field goal attempt. Had Hamilton been able to hold Saskatchewan, penalty keeps the drive alive, gives them a first down and a chance to go in and take the lead in this game for the first time.
Absolutely. Well, that penalty total is evening out a little bit now. 1st and 10, Saskatchewan. Graves stands in. Marsh, touchdown! sudden, not many seem too worried about the dry spell in Saskatchewan, at least for a few moments here tonight. Back-to-back touchdown catches by Curtis Marsh, and the Roughriders have the lead for the first time at Taylor Field tonight. 27-25. The Gopher does a good swim move, too. The Gopher cap.
Hamilton Tiger Cats play a zone defense on the touchdown, and in zone defense, there's seams. There's one seam here, one seam there, and Curtis Marsh will find the seam. Chris Schelling, number 30, has got to try and keep Marsh out of the seam. He doesn't do it. And there you see Curtis Marsh taking advantage of it. Rob Hitchcock can't get over.
Great move by Marsh at the goal line. Here come the Tiger Cats. Welton is wrapped up by George White.
Sorry, John. It was a great move at the goal line. It was also a great move at the line of scrimmage. Let me show you why. See, you're going to see from the left of your screen here, see number 30? He's trying to get his hands on him. That's Chris Schelling. If he can get his hands and stop Marsh in the seam, he can't run down in there and have a chance for that football. But because Marsh gets a nice job of widening his release, getting outside of number 30, Chris Schelling, then that's why he can get down into that seam. See, and that's the whole key. It's all part of it. See, here's Schelling. He's got to come out and jam the seam right here. If he doesn't get his hands on Marsh, the guys behind him are in big, big trouble. And Marsh, to his credit, gets outside, makes a nice move on Schelling, and there he is, open down the seam, and the deep guys just can't get over to help him.
Well, Don Southern a little worried about the last two touchdown catches, but there's more concern for the Tiger Cats as we look down to the near sidelines, and Ronald Williams is being tended to.
They were sort of looking at that knee of his, checking that out.
He wasn't the kick returner.
Now they're looking down low in his calf.
He was blocking for Jeff Johnson, 24 there.
There he is right there trying to get out and make a block. He gets rolled on. You know, I'd love to see the statistics, and it's never been kept, but I bet you it's like upwards of 80% of injuries happen on special teams. Because on special teams, there are bodies flying everywhere. And you don't know where they're coming from. Offensive and defensively, you kind of know the angles that things happen.
You've got people in your sights on either side of the ball, right?
That's right, and you're sort of used to where they're coming from, and you can prepare yourself. But on special teams, boy, bodies are flying. There's shrapnel everywhere. If you catch a piece of that shrapnel, you're doing like Ron Williams and walking onto the sideline.
Well, that's good news that he's up. But he'll miss a series or two for sure. Curtis Marsh very quiet in this football game until, well, the third quarter.
Just as we talked about the matchup between him and Terry Billups, and Billups was doing his pretty good job in the three quarters, but it's been all Curtis Marsh in that matchup in the fourth.
And actually the fourth quarter is where Marsh has touchdowns of 37 and 25 yards and has given the Riders the lead. Here's Danny McManus behind his target.
Well, with Ron Williams out of the game, Danny McManus changes the game plan completely, and he'll just go to the strict passing game, something more similar to what they did last year. I mean, forget about the run. You don't have your running back. Empty the backfield, add a receiver, and that's what Danny McManus will do.
Well, the halves have been completely different here. Total offense for the Ticats in the first half, 307 yards. And in the second half, just 77. So that's when the momentum has shifted to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 2nd and 10. McManus far side. And he missed again. Greg was the target.
Well, here's what I'm talking about. When Ron Williams is over there shaking off the injury, Danny McManus goes to a completely different type of offense. And the offense is to spread everybody out. Now, what you're going to notice here, as this happens here, no one back behind Danny McManus. No running backs at all back there. See the snap of the ball, he's all by himself. And that's strictly passing game now. You know, but full credit when you showed that statistic, first half to second half, full credit to Richie Hall, the defensive coordinator in Saskatchewan, because it's all about making adjustments on the fly. And at halftime, this Saskatchewan defense made some adjustments. Richie Hall is right in here behind the post, and he has made some nice adjustments. He's on the phone down to the sideline, and you likely do that every series with a different player. Player down there will pick up the phone, talk to the defensive coordinator, and he's just saying, hey, we've made some adjustments. We got him reeling a little bit. Let's keep the advantage.
That's a new job for Richie Hall this year.
That's
the coordinator's job. He has worked a long time with the Roughriders as the defensive backfield coach. 8 years. As a coach, well, you played a little bit with him too.
Yes, I did. And Danny Barrett trusts Richie Hall. It's a different style. Last year under Gary Echeverry, this was a defense that was blitzing a lot and playing a lot of straight man-to-man defense in the secondary. This year, it'll be a little more conventional. Richie Hall knows what it's like to be all alone playing man-to-man when you're a rookie defensive back, and he will play more of mixing up the defense. Little zone here, little man here, little pressure every now and then. But that will be more of Richie Hall's style. His style will be more conventional. Let's give him some different looks. Let's give him some different type of defenses.
One new coach on this Saskatchewan defensive staff, too, is Ron Este, the Eskimo great, who's working with the defensive line.
By the way, right behind Richie Hall is Dan Farthing. And there's Ron Este.
Swamp Dog, they called him in Edmonton.
Well, I got a chance to go to the Saskatchewan camp up in Saskatoon, and Ron Este tells the great story. I was talking about the one-on-one battles and the toughness in football, and Este, he says to me, he says, you know, one time a guy said to me, he says, you guys just play football for the money. And he said, yeah, well, let me take a baseball bat, I'll break your hand, and I'll give you $100. So see, now you know we don't play for the money.
He was a great one. With the great Eskimo teams. This is Roll Preston, and Rock was back with him to the left. A 10-yard return. Gary Brown has injured both ankles tonight.
They are running out of tape for Gary Brown. He's right in here. Take a look at Gary Brown. He gets rolled on again. He already had one ankle wrapped up, and now they get the other ankle. So he reaches down for that one.
It's a lot of Johnson & Johnson.
No question. Because even his ankles are big. His ankle's probably 50 pounds apiece.
1st and 10. Saskatchewan at the Ticat 36. The Riders have a 2-point lead. Darren Davis. And it's been different with Davis in the ball game. No question about that. He's a breakaway runner, all kinds of potential. Rushed for 1,074 yards last year and didn't start all 18 games. Arrived late.
Well, and as important as the running game was in the first half, it's certainly important now. There's his numbers from a year ago, and if he can rip off that 6.4-yard average with the clock ticking down under 6 minutes now, Roughriders win this football game.
However, 5:42 remaining. It's only a 2-point advantage for the Riders. Braves on second and less than a yard, and that'll be a first down.
You know, and well, Saskatchewan may have some momentum. They can't get comfortable now. You know, it's only a 2-point lead. And on the other sideline, across from Danny Barrett, is one of the best in the business at the comeback game.
Well, and he learned from the very best in the business because Ron Lancaster is the master of the clock.
Well, a lot of those Marvin Grave numbers, the 234 yards, happened in this fourth quarter. A couple of big passes to Curtis Marsh for touchdowns.
From the 46, Saskatchewan first down. Davis again spun off one and is wrapped up by Gonzalo Floyd.
We're talking about the injuries to Gary Brown. Yeah, earlier it was the right ankle. Now they're taking a look at the left knee. It doesn't appear to be serious. He seems to have good mobility in it, but nonetheless, Seuss, as you well know, if that doesn't hurt tonight, it'll hurt tomorrow. And as far as Ron Williams is concerned, he is up and going, and he's been standing on the sidelines here, so it appears that he's going to make a return.
Well, it's his knee, so that's 75 pounds at least. And I thought it was the ankle. You go up, and it's bigger.
Second and 8, Saskatchewan. Graves stands in. Got away for a split second, but he'll be well short, and the Riders will have to kick it away.
We talked about this offensive line in Saskatchewan, and yes, Mumford makes that tackle, but Joe Mumford has been pretty quiet in this game. Here he is right here. He's working one-on-one on Gene Mikowski. This offensive line has done a pretty nice job of slowing down the premier sack in the Canadian Football League. 67 sacks in 54 games since 1998 for Joe Mumford. That's over a sack a game.
He makes big plays, doesn't he?
And he's been quiet tonight.
20 sacks last year, 26 in 1999. Riders forced to kick it away as McCallum steps in. Aikens waits back at the Ticat 20. Tony Aikens for about 6 on the return. Randy Stroczynski wrapped him up, number 45. My good friend Bob Hughes in the Leader Post was thinking back a few years today in a column I read, and he was talking about Ron Lancaster and what he meant to Saskatchewan, how big he was in this province in those glory years. But one thing kind of caught my attention. Hughes wrote, if he wasn't the best quarterback in CFL history, he certainly was the smartest.
Well, you know what?
And, you know, you look through the years, and there have been guys come along and break records, but I don't think anybody knows more about the game than Lancaster.
There's Ron Williams back in this game, but just to get back to Lancaster for just a second, 1963 was a year that none of the Rider fans there will ever forget. That was the year that Ron Lancaster was traded over here from the Ottawa Roughriders. Of course, a tremendous player that you mentioned. And to this day, 63, I was 1 year old. To this day, you walk in a mall in Saskatchewan, and they talk Ron Lancaster and George Reed in the glory days.
Oh.
He will just be forever the legend in this province.
Heading to the final 3 minutes as McManus comes to the near side and has Corey Grant. See where they spot the ball. Fairly close to a first down. And there's the indication it will be Ticat first ball. Timeout at Taylor Field. It's a 2-point ball game with 3 minutes to go. Major League Baseball All-Star Game comes your way Tuesday. Hey, he's got the light fired up. You remember the flame?
Yeah.
And the real fire coming out of that Saskatchewan fan's head? Well, this guy has modified it a little bit. The flame actually got suspended. It got too dangerous.
Well, I'm not sure it came right out of his head, but I know what you're saying.
Well, they had a little explosion up there.
Yeah.
McManus on a key first down play.
Oh, boy.
Aikens made the catch.
Took a bit of a hit and hung on to that football.
Osbaldiston has led the way with 6 field goals. The Roughriders overcame a 16-point deficit to take the lead.
And we're adjusting the game story a little bit on the fly.
Well, we can do that.
We have that ability.
It's always changing, Glenn.
That's right. And that's completely within our power to do that.
And Curtis Marsh has made this a football game and given the Roughriders the lead. 2:09 to go. Riders lead it by 2. McManus unloads. Guess who? Darren Flutie made the catch. And it's another Ticat first down.
Well, I mentioned that one of the best comeback quarterbacks in the game right now, Danny McManus, and Darren Flutie is going to be his go-to guy, no question. He's working one-on-one there with Jackie Mitchell, just turns to the outside. The ball's on its way before he makes that cut. And that's the key to it, because if Danny McManus waits too long, Jackie Mitchell comes downhill and gets it.
Another Ticat first down as the drive continues at the Roughrider 40. McManus in trouble. Got it away to Ronald Williams. Williams turns it into a first down. He's inside the 30. The Ticats are going to take the lead. Sean Gallant finally got over to make the tackle. Williams a super run after the catch.
Well, first of all, Danny McManus, I had a little Doug Flutie flashback there. I mean, this was made up. This did not work. This play did not work. Shante Peoples is there. He does not allow McManus to get outside, but McManus just sort of makes it up on the fly, gets it to Ron Williams.
Well, this is perfect Danny McManus football right now, working the clock like a magician. And the Ticats are inside the Saskatchewan 30. The Rider defense has to come up huge here. Drop leg. Ronald Williams. Nowhere to go. Well, there's one huge play for the Rider defense. 1:16 on the clock.
Well, there was some good penetration from the linebacking core right in the ear from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and it's George White making some things happen. Closes down the hole, wraps up Ron Williams, and right after the play, Danny McManus looked to the sideline, put his hand up to say, don't send in a play. I want to call this one.
The Riders have to get the ball back in a hurry because it's 2nd and 15 or 14 here right now. Osbaldiston is going to come on in a second if they don't get the first down. And Ozzie has been perfect tonight. Grant made the catch short of the first down. Osbaldiston saunters out with 53 seconds to go.
This will be number 7 for him if he can make this. And
well, it's pretty tough to see him missing this one.
Well, the thing is that there's still enough time for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, even if he does make it, to come down. Remember,
there's time for Saskatchewan to get back in this game, but McManus is going to take the lead here now, I believe. A 35-yarder. Well, maybe they can jinx him a little bit here. Osbaldiston, 6 for 6. 7 for 7. And the Ticats are back on top by a point.
48 seconds for the Saskatchewan offense. That's plenty of time. They're only 1 point down, which means they can also get down and punt it for a single to push it to overtime. So Ron Lancaster tries to rally the defense. A defense that's very difficult at this point because you don't want to give up too much room, but you can't get beat up over the top. So you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. Offensively, you're going to attack that. Don Southern has to try and figure out now, do we send pressure and go aggressively after him, or do we sit back, make him throw it short underneath and rally to tackle him?
Well, this is a perfect way to end a football game, isn't it?
It'll be 3-down football for Saskatchewan as well.
48 seconds to go. Ticats by a point. Graves over the middle. Oh, Zarka dropped it.
Turned his head. He turned his head.
Dropped it.
Well, we just mentioned it, and Don Southern decides to drop back into zone and let them throw underneath and rally around and make the tackles. Well, they didn't have to because Chris Zarka turned his head at the wrong time. There's the signal. Did you read that one?
What did he do?
I don't know. Someone's going to bunt.
2nd and 10, and as Glenn said, 3-down football, so the Riders would gamble on 3rd down here regardless. Yes, first down at the 42. Curtis Marsh is the go-to guy. And if the Riders win, he'll be the hero.
Curtis Marsh uses motion to confuse the defensive back. Curtis Marsh is right here. He used motion to get out there, and Hitchcock, the safety, gets too far to the field. And when he does, that backside seam is opened up again. Now this is Curtis Marsh for the 3rd time in the 4th quarter taking advantage of the seams in the Hamilton defense. And they're in field goal range basically right now. It's a long one, but
it's a long one. But they have 25 seconds to get closer. Far side, too high. Marsh the target again.
Well, they can get closer, but you got to be a little careful here, I would think. And yeah, you want to take advantage of the Marsh catch, but you throw an interception here and this game is over. You're in field goal range. If you run the ball, Marsh is right up here at the top of your screen. If you run the ball, you maybe pick up 8, 9, 10 yards, and you get a little bit closer. Paul McCallum, this is going to be the longest 21 seconds for a kicker is right now.
Ticats by 1. Saskatchewan 2nd and 10 at the Ticat 43. Out pattern far side. 16 seconds to go. Marsh made the catch. And McCallum's job will be a little bit easier.
Here he is again. We've seen the out a couple of times. Let's see it one more time. Right there. Dwayne Butler tries to use his hands. Marsh stretches for the first down. Now you run the football for sure.
7th catch.
Try to get it
for
to
Curtis
the middle.
Marsh. He has 131 yards. Roughriders are first and 10. Ticat 32, and timeout is called with 5 seconds on the clock.
Well, this is well within Paul McCallum's range. Last year, his longest field goal was 53. He's hit from 58 in his career. That was 2 years ago, his longest. It's well within his range, and Danny Barrett will try and get this attempt now. And one of the reasons that you go on first down and try not to run one more play is twofold. One, your running back gets held up and the clock expires, you lose the game. Number two, if there's a bobbled snap, you may get a chance to do it one more time.
Well, they'll try and ice McCallum here with this timeout.
And now what Ron Lancaster does is he'll send out the kicker, Paul Osbaldiston, and put him deep back into the end zone. If Paul McCallum misses this, they'll try and get the ball to Paul Osbaldiston. He'll try and punt it back. One of the unique rules in CFL.
McCallum for the win. There it is. Need a miracle.
Last year, this team was so close in so many games and couldn't finish. Maybe that's changed.
Dylan Ching, the holder, celebrating with the kicker. The one last Hail Mary pass for Danny McManus. This one is up. Jump ball. It's over. Oh, hang on.
Wait just 1 minute. There's flags now.
Back at the line, there are flags, and it cannot end on a penalty. 2 flags right along the line of scrimmage.
It was against Hamilton. Game's over.
Well, it doesn't get much more fun than that, does it?
Well, you know, some might say that the Saskatchewan Roughriders stole one. And if you look at the first half, you may think that. But it's all about making adjustments on the fly. And full credit to the Roughriders coaching staff. They made adjustments at halftime, enough adjustments to come back and steal this football game.
The Riders were down by 16 at one point. McCallum gets the game-winning field goal and 3 more to boot. It was a typical CFL Friday night.
And we're just in week 1.
Lancaster loses, Barrett wins. And kind of a fun time at Taylor Field.
Another Friday night memory.
Riders by 2 over the Tiger Cats.
Wendy's Friday Night Football ends with a bit of a thriller finish. 30-28 Saskatchewan snatches victory with a strong fourth quarter. They did not get to their first win of the season last year until week 8, guys. They only won 2 games on Taylor Field turf all of last season. Didn't really look like they were going to win this one, but they hung in there and got it done in the fourth quarter.
A full house in front of a packed house. Simply great way to start the season off for Danny Barrett. They developed an atmosphere people wanted to play in last year, and it carried over this year, and they got to win. It paid off. Tale of 2 halves. All Hamilton in the first, and the Saskatchewan showing some tenacity in the second half, and they found a weakness in that Hamilton secondary, the youth of Butler at the halfback position, and Curtis Marsh wore him out.
And it was a big win for Marvin Graves because he took his team with 51 seconds left, led him down the field in a field goal position. As much as that gives him confidence that he can play and perform under pressure, other players on that football team also look to him and say, hey, maybe this is our leader for the entire season. I thought it was a great understanding of the game and a great game by Marvin.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, you have to love the Canadian Football League. I mean, what an exciting game. Goes right down to the end. They find a way to win it. And this is a huge win for Danny Barrett, Roy Shivers and company. They've got it headed in the right direction. For Hamilton, a tough loss. I think their lack of speed in the receiving corps showed right at the end, Matt. We talked about that. They're going to have to get a way to stretch that field if they're going to reach their potential, Dave.
Yeah, good win for the Riders. Their first win against Hamilton since October of 1997. Tomorrow night, we're right back at it. Wendy's CFL Live Saturday. The Eskimos going to BC Place to take on the defending Grey Cup champions, 11 Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Paul McCallum from 40 yards. Those are the winning points. You've been watching TSN, Canada's most watched sports network.